Because a lot of those are really old.
Yeah, but I'm going to answer all of them because this is the reason we created it.
Right,
We haven't answered these yet. So the next question is: can we get stricter values or rules about around valuing one's life on the server and value the lives of others? I feel violence for many is a quick answer for engagement, and that they do not value their lives when they are ramping their cards off of things. Unless you are playing as a daredevil, this shouldn't happen. We are trying to put in certain mechanics that will actually force people to do it, like value more role play or value of their life more. That's one reason, for example, that forcing robbery hasn't been brought in. Although that's not directly related to having a better, more value for your life, it does promote a better sense of role play. Like we've noticed that whenever we have that feature enabled, we tend to have less role play, and we used to, especially on Arma, we'd always have posts every now and then that these people just go around robbing people all day long, standing around waiting at the bank, and just they rob you as soon as you get money in. So that's why we've removed it for now. But moving forward here, um, yeah, we are trying to do things like that. I am going to be working on a mechanic that if your vehicle leaves the ground for such a height, it will have a chance of permanently disabling the vehicle. So that's another way that you will see that people will value their life more. But in regards to valuing their life more, things that we can't do with code wise, it's going to be difficult for us to make happen, unfortunately, because in the end, we can't control the player's actions. We can't control your actions, and we don't want to. We want to give you the most free set of rules that we can give you to enjoy yourself, but also at the same time be strict enough to enforce a good quality roleplay that I want to bring back to where it was instead of declining like it has been lately. So if you have suggestions for stricter rules or anything, you can feel free to leave them in any suggestion form or anonymous tip or whatever you want to do. So this one's not really a question because it's already talked about. So someone asked if we can move the menus around so that whenever you're chatting, the two don't collide. We can look into that. Yeah, that's not going to be a big thing to do. It's just we just have to rearrange where everything's going to be on the screen, but it is a possibility. Yes. Fairly recently, LEO behavior has been overly heavy handed to the point someone was handing out tickets for busted lights in his eyes, which we all know is a slight desyncing, will not be the same for everyone. Yeah, that should never have happened. Some LEOs being fairly rude or borderline refusing RP to almost the whole LEO staging sting operations near Civ baiting, actually spying on Civs and waiting for them to do something to ensure they get a bust. That's pretty acceptable, I would say, but we can discuss that. And having 2 to 4 cars, which is often 2 cops per car, just for what it is, often I don't. Some of this wording is not very good. While the civs want LEO and we don't want to have this perceived power gets getting to the point where it's getting tickets for jaywalking or even harassing people or trying to do legal jobs as well as illegal. Many of us over the past few days at this point just want to stand and talk since we feel we can't do anything without LEO looking for any excuse to bust us for something. Will there be any way to get some of these things looked into? I personally love the interaction with many LEO, but some is just about the job, get the bust, and get near enough to screw the IP or RP. So let me pull something up here for y'all. Yeah, exactly what Justin Creed said is that the officers in question that did the entire desyncing stuff have since been fired and removed from the LEO rosters. So we do apologize for that. And it's because people reported it in the first place that we were able to take action because that's not exactly what we want. Because, I mean, very few times when I've played Barrett do I actually give a ticket for jaywalking unless they repeatedly do it right in front of me after I've told them not to. I'll just yell at you and be a dick about it, but I don't actually do that. So I want to point y'all to this. We've recently created a form right here You have general server, law enforcement, EMS department, and staff member issues. You can post any issue in the game, in the server, about a staff member, about another member, anything at all. Even if you feel like a player report under these categories, and they are completely anonymous. No one can see who posted them. I don't think even y'all can see what's been posted in there. Only staff or admins can, and we can't even see who posted them. So we don't even see it. So if you're making a player report against us, we can't see who originally posted it. So if you have concerns that you'd rather not bring up at public, so you can't be publicly scrutinized, is what if you fear that or something like that, feel free to post here, and that may be a way that you can help get things improving. Bans for lack of me command. There's been bans recently while not affecting myself, been handed out to others as they've been told. Slash me, and since you did it, it's fail RP. This, however, is broken and flawed system at the time and should not carry anywhere near as harsh penalties it does. Is there any way you can get it reviewed, etc., etc., etc.? So if that happened, that should not have happened. On all honesty, and it sounds like the way it's worded is to make it sound like a staff member did a terrible thing, but I have a feeling there's more to the story. But either way, if it happened, submit the evidence and we will review it. In the next patch, though, me is replaced, or it's fixed rather. I got a lot of things fixed in the next patch. I'm trying to get vehicle inventory completely 100% working before I release this next patch, though. Punishment of honest people. Some people recently have been overly aggressive punishing, such as one person I was made aware of had glitched money. They did the right thing and support staff, and yet they still had their whole bank account cleared out as a punishment. Why is this the case for people just trying to be honest and following the rules? This is not the only case of this happening, and we would like to see that the staff and it would seem the staff are not communicating as effectively as they could, and it's making players suffer. As a player hearing these things, making it feel where it's a bug. If I sell my iron for 1,500, it gives me 50,000. Well, I could hand it in and not be punished if I'm honest or not. Is there some way we can avoid this in the future? So, yeah, I was about to bring that up, Max. Dude, these are more like complaints, which you can file in that question, but we can go ahead and answer it as well. I would say that something like that, I I'm not gonna really believe a report like this without some sort of evidence, because 9 times out of 10, and I'm gonna go ahead and say 10 times out of 10, as my experience been so far on the server, when someone reports something like this to us, there is more to the story than's being told. And what people don't realize is we can see pretty much every transaction, you know, that y'all do. We can see when you put in money, if you get glitched money, we can see how much items you sell, all that stuff. And so we'll often have times where people say, "Hey, I got glitched money," and then they'll go and buy a bunch of cars and only report a lower amount that was actually glitched and give that back. We've had that numerous times happen. So I really don't know what to tell you there. If you do have evidence of that, of a staff member doing something like that, then please let us know. But I assure you, most of the time, especially lately, like with the Shook and Victor Kill thing, people didn't have the full story and they're jumping to conclusions. Um, so they didn't have all the details and they're just assuming they knew everything, just outright wrong, unfortunately. So if that's the case, please put in a bug or a staff complaint or anything like that so that we can get it looked into, though. Someone's asking if we can have ARs automatically removed instead of having to hand them into LEOs, because it's very easy to obtain them, or come up with some kind of deposit box method. That is something that we could look into, and I'll add that into my to-do list to add a feature for, because it would not be too much of an issue to do so. Yeah, I'm looking for ones now, Glenn, that are more of a community question and not so much as a complaint. I was supposed to go through a lot of these today, but I only had about 30 minutes to actually do it, and I chose not to because I wouldn't have gotten through all of them because I got something real world going on with the military right now. So I apologize about that. That's on my part. So someone is asking if EMS can be allowed to defend themselves. They're proposing that EMS should be able to carry non-lethal weapons such as a taser or pepper spray for use in violent situations as a last resort. We can allow something like that. However, it's in the real world that's not the case because of legal issues that they keep the two departments separate. They say that fire department does fire, EMS does EMS, or well, those two are pretty much mutually exclusive nowadays, except for firefighting. But and the PD does all the protection, and you rely on the PD to get there. But I know what you're talking about because oftentimes, and I've actually been in this scenario myself in real life, where you are having a situation about to turn violent against you. We'll discuss it. If y'all prefer, we can definitely take a poll about it, but it would only be a taser at most, and there would have to be some strict SOPs about it. So, if one of the staff members wants to get us poll up about giving EMS tasers just to use as a last line of defense, then we can. But in all honesty, I've really not seen a lot of violence towards EMS. I mean, has any of the staff members seen that or no?
Well, there's a lot of violence with the locals or AI with EMS.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm talking about from players.
I have yet to see anybody hold me hostage or anything like that, and even when I'm on, I never hear of anything like that. I hear it sometimes from Tavis and I
Okay.
think somebody else, but I never personally see or have it done.
If it does happen, I feel like it's extremely, extremely rare.
Yeah, I've not. Yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on. So this individual is asking for more intricate and involving things for gang criminals to do. Currently, the only thing you're able to do is run drugs, which is take point one items from point A to point B to point C, etc. Grocery stores pretty much are just wait and get caught, or wait till no one shows up at all, wait till the cops come shoot you, everyone dies. Love to see something more involving. Some suggestions would be highest that take an age to set up and perfect. Anything that would involve a greater magnitude of please put your hands up. I agree, and I would highly suggest that you put in a suggestion like a well thought out, detailed suggestion because people have put these in before, and they usually end up being implemented in some sort or fashion. I can't talk, because if you just say, "Hey, give us more things to do," I mean, I'm always trying to think of more things to do, but I'm not that creative with my mind. I need some people who are to use what they have and give me some thoughts. So if you give me a well thought out idea about how something should be done, then that'd be very, very helpful. See, like Danny Boyle's suggestion of fishing, while that's another idea, that's not very detailed. That's not the answer I want. That's literally a one word answer. It says, "Hey, do fishing." Okay, well, do you just want to fish and then you sell them immediately, or do you want to have to fish them? Then do you want to go somewhere and do you want to have to skin them? Then do you want to have to go and cut them up? Then do you want to go cook them? Then do something like all these different variables you can do. People have to give different answers, more intricate answers than that. So actually help out with that. And then we can get some things y'all might actually enjoy doing more. But there are some changes coming to the drug system right now. Let me see where my current change log is. Basically, what's going to happen is the drugs are getting a significant boost. I think about a 25% raise to each of their sell prices. And for whatever reason, I either forgot to do it or the code was misplaced or something, but it wasn't actually taking into account the stat boost that you get from selling an item or from basically, gathering, processing, and selling an item. So I've re-added that, and what will happen is basically, you get the base price, and then based on how much you've done this drug before, that you sold it, processed it, gathered it, etc., it'll give you a significant boost to the overall price. I think it's up to $7,500 more, if I remember correctly. You want to know right now, or just move on? It's a significant boost either way. Also, the trucking has been capped at 15 grand. But I've also boosted the stats to allow you to get up to $20,000. So you can get a maximum of $20,000, if I remember correctly, per trucking run. But that's the absolute maximum if you get the best routes and you get your stats maximized. So let me go ahead and move forward. Not approved gangs are able to make gangs, etc., etc. Basically, this person is very pissed off about it. And they think we should have application process to get gangs approved, which is really good. So I've already done that. I'm going to be asking the staff after this, but I'll ask them now since obviously the question came up. But we're going to have a gang application form or some system set up to where we can have gangs pre-approved before doing so. And we'll probably put additional rules on top of gangs, like similar outfits or styles and etc. We'll come up with something so that it's going to be hopefully a positive aspect to bringing more RP. But for now, I've disabled creating new gangs, and there hasn't really been any new gangs created in a long time anyway. So. Someone's asking if we can have a police panic button created. Yes, that's already on my to-do list. I just recently added it. Another question about adding more legal jobs up north, like go fishing, go postal. Yes, we will be adding. We can add more positions up there for go postal, but we can also add more jobs as well. We're probably going to try to be adding some new jobs lately. My current job list to get done right now is a gas job where you transport gas to the different gas stations, and it's going to be the first supply and demand system, but they'll also be able to be robbed of that gas and sold illegally for a smaller profit. And then they're going to do some kind of aquatic based job. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do with that yet. So also, everyone who's talking in chat, I'm not paying attention to chat at all right now. So if you have a question, a community question that you think should be heard by the community, put it into the link that I gave earlier, please. This is already done. This is again already done. In my head, people say this too much, and it's kind of annoying to hear at this point. We are a community and need to find more creative ways to break RP instead of saying, hey, I gotta go to my head, I have a problem, hang on. Or the worst one, I'm gonna go in my head. So I don't know what to tell you on this one. How many of y'all actually have an issue with something like this? Because everyone has real life issues that come up suddenly and then need to step away for a moment. So they're trying not to break RP. I'm not personally against it. I would just say, hey, I just need to step away for a minute. I gotta go take a phone call for a minute, etc. Then you can put your phone up or someone emote or whatever you want to do. It's not that huge of a deal, but Moving on. Clarification of break of RP to OOC. Deportation in my head. What? We literally just talked about this. Sorry, I did not go through all these previously like I had wanted to. I just kept forgetting about it. This is my bad. I apologize. There is a large amount of communication that goes on, but recently with the move to FX, there was an extended period of time where server 2 was down while they worked on the code for server 1. The only communication regarding this could be found in the chat, which scrolls. Even late at night, issues, patches, I'd like to see better communication in the future. Details are important, but 5M update killed the servers post where admins could list the current status. Like server 2 down while we patch server 1, list known bugs like revive not working, etc., etc. Then we could check the forums at least to turn the status of these issues without having to post in Discord chat logs, which is not for support. We didn't put a status up there like that. We could have made a link. We will try to do something like that if a major issue happens as well, or if a major issue like that happens again. But I was definitely keeping all the updates as best I could in the chat box, which I know scrolls. I was saying stuff on my stream when I was streaming it. I mean, I was in TeamSpeak working on it. Unfortunately, it was just an issue that I was more focused on the code than I was keeping everyone apprised of it. So I apologize about that. I will see if I can remember in the future to do a better job about keeping it updated. But that does slow me down, unfortunately. So. We need to change this as a community. People don't act hurt when their character gets hurt. People are not acting hurt. For example, someone will get shot and just talk normally like nothing happened, which, by the way, should be disabled in the next patch. I believe I have it set up now. So in the next patch, that if you are not alive, you will no longer be able to be talking. Sometimes they will say things like "just get me up," like it's no big deal. Same goes for vehicle accidents. Like someone I feel like when someone gets shot, they should be adjourned to the hospital. They still remember what happens, but it provides realism to what actually happened. I want to see this change for everyone. Please start doing injury RP. So I do plan on trying to add in some medical stuff, but it's a big project to just create all these things. I have a little bit of background in having this in the server, so I have a good idea of what I'm going to do for it. But yeah, we do plan on putting in some kind of medical system, which will be a lot more intricate than just, hey, revive me. They'll actually have to repair bones or put on splints. They'll have to put on bandages, maybe morphine, different things like that. So those of you that are familiar with Arma, will be a similar system, but it's a lot to develop. And just with the fact that there's only 30 people on the server right now, I don't really feel it's worth our time investing a lot of time into it until we can actually get a lot more people on the server and get other stuff going. So we just have higher priorities before we get to that, but it is a definite plan. So I will go ahead and add it on my official to-do list though. Increase the gang limits from 4 to 6. Reason being is that crime is really low right now. I completely disagree. And maybe the 4 limit is discouraging people from doing crime, and it might make it more fun if we update it to 6. It sounds like someone just wants a few more people in their gang. But regardless, you already can get a gang of 4 for free. You can, for 75 grand, you can have a gang of 4, and then you can get it all the way up to 8, I think it is. I think you can go to 8 for an additional cost per slot. I don't remember for sure, but I do believe that is something they are working on. So, okay, thanks, Max. Yeah, marking this how it's going, but that'll work too. It'll be easier on me. Taken by the cuffs. Let police actually take you by the cuffs and drag you instead of police saying it. I am working on that. I am already working on that. You can ask the staff. I was working on it for a few hours, and it just does not want to work for us for some reason. So I'm still working on the issue though. Stand by. Sorry. I'm trying to look at public solutions that are out there as well to get y'all something for now until I can code my own. But unfortunately, the public solutions I've tried don't work either. So maybe I'll find one that does. Oh, this one's a personal favorite. People standing around all day at Legion Square and the bank all day. Yep, I'm aware. We need to stop this somehow. Yeah, that's the part. It's pretty annoying when people have 20. It's pretty annoying when we have 20 people just hanging out the bank, going down all day with nothing else to do all the time. I agree, but unfortunately, again, that's not a suggestion. That's not a very good means of reporting this. I need something that would give me a good suggestion or an idea of something we could do to try to make it better. Because just tell me something I already know or tell me something I don't know without suggestion usually is going to help if you're trying to make improvements or change something up. That's why we're trying to add in more jobs and different things to do. But for some people, for some reason, people lately just really don't want to be role playing and creating stories and everything. There's very few people I see creating active stories like they used to. So I don't know what to tell you, unfortunately. It also comes down to a balance of gameplay longevity and how much time you invest in the server. Because if we make everything real easy, like right now the cars are too cheap. All of them are going to be getting an increase. But if you make everything too easy, y'all are going to get all the cars, all the money you could need anytime soon or very very quickly, and then you'll have nothing to do. Nothing. And you will stand around all day in front of the bank or wherever the common hangout spots are and just stand there instead of actually doing something. But if we make things more expensive, then it takes a lot longer to actually get something and be able to show it off, etc. That's why I've disabled the chop shop for now by popular demand and the fact that I didn't get insurance in the time frame I said I would. But then people complain. So because it's taken so long, or they have all these excuses, and it doesn't make it better that we have to deal with the fact that it's a mod for GTA, which isn't by default supported. So a lot of varying issues here. I'm trying to do my best to balance it out, but I will say now that whenever we do our last wipe, get down, doggo, get down. It is very likely you'll see a price increase across the board for everything that you purchase. I think the guns are probably good where they are. Most of the food and water items I think are good where they are, but a lot of the vehicles and other items that you'll have at the time that we do that wipe, it will be increased significantly. So yeah, player-based economy would open up a lot. Also, we were going to be doing something of the nature where, well, I'm going to be doing some back-end work and changing how the code works, so it's going to be a lot easier than it already is for me to add in new stuff for processing jobs, which doesn't sound good to you, but it doesn't quite mean to y'all what it's going to actually do. So it'll be useful. Another police escort. Is there, oh God, is there any way to fix the 1 million numbers where people are having very high player identities? No, unfortunately, there is not. It was my mistake, and I tried to undo it, but it cannot be undone, unfortunately. The only way it will ever be changed is when we do the what, which has no current set date. So I apologize about that. You can completely blame that on me. But that's the only way is to wipe the entire database and start over at this point, because it would take way too long to fix all that. Sorry. There will be a wipe, but not anytime soon. After this next wipe, there will not be any more. As dispatcher go anywhere instead of having to stay in mission row, that is already done in this next patch. If it's not in the current patch, where dispatcher does not have to stay at mission row anymore. Clarification of metagaming via streams. Is there any clarification on the metagaming through streams? I did not use this info, but was talked to about it. I'm not sure about the question. I'm sorry. I'll just say this: any information that you get if you stream or if you're watching other streams, you cannot use in game. Basically, anything that you ask anything that you do in game is the only knowledge that you have. Anything that you get outside of the game, whether it be through Steam, TeamSpeak, Snapchat, AOL Instant Messenger, ICQ, I don't care, you cannot use. A lot of people don't even know what ICQ is. Business snap size list, a lot of business snaps, this has already been taken care of. Alright, favoritism. Some players seem to get away with stuff I see that others normally wouldn't, and receive different treatment OOC as well because they're close to staff or an admin. This isn't something that's always subtle. Will this ever be truly addressed so everyone can be treated fairly for the actions, especially in character? Go back to this. If you see something like that, feel free to post in the staff member issues. I will reiterate that if you post something in there, no one, not even myself, can see who posted it. Because we do not want that to happen. My biggest issue is I'm guilty of it oftentimes, unfortunately, because I'll be doing something with a certain group of people that I know are okay with it, or we're just talking about stuff or testing stuff, and then others will show up, and then I don't stop doing it, and it's my fault in the end, either way. So I do apologize about that. Streaming giving an advantage. Will anything be done about Twitch streamers using their stream to gain an unfair advantage? This goes back to the last question about the meta. I said, if we have significant proof that a player is using out-of-game information to an in-game advantage somehow, they will receive a ban, period. No matter who they are. I haven't seen anyone do, well, I've seen 2 people do it, and both of them received bans, and eventually were perma-banned from the community because of their actions. Not just that action, but repeated offenses. It's like people who keep on coming back to the game to exploit and script and cheat and don't think they're going to get caught when they got caught the first time. Alright, so apparently cops are giving special treatment. I don't know about that. How about we try to fix this whole thing about some people getting off without punishment just because they have friends at PD? Again, go there under law enforcement issues. If you want to post this anonymously, you can post there, and you can make a post about who you think is giving anonymous or special treatment. But I guarantee you, if you come at us without proof, then nothing will be done. We need actual legitimate proof, not just your word or something like that. So please, 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 if you want to make the server better for yourself and consequently better for everyone else, post there. Otherwise, we can't do a thing, unfortunately. Same with lawyers. I've always been told that I can get a lawyer in my Miranda rights, but then when I ask for one, they say there are none that you can provide. I tell them that I have a lawyer, but all I can say, but I can call and they say no. Same time, many people that are more known or whatever always seem to get a lawyer. This is one of the biggest flaws in the RP community right now, except for the kids at VDM, etc. I don't. Again, we need to report about it, because I haven't seen a case where someone was denied a lawyer when there is actually one available. Now, if you're asking to call a lawyer, that they can deny that. They can call for you if you can give them the lawyer's number, but you cannot call them once you are in prison. That's not how that works. So they can deny you that way, but if there are no public defenders available, then yes, they can say that they'll give you one if available in the Miranda rights, and if there's not one available, they've done their job. They're not responsible if there's not one available. So unfortunately, then you're just screwed out of luck at that point. What about your one call once you're detained? Have we ever made an official ruling on that?
Sometimes we'll give if they ask to make the call, we'll give them the phone to call, and then there or other times we just, like you said, ask for the name, and we'll call the person.
I think the reason, yeah, and mainly the reason that we say we will call for them is because more often than not, when I've given them the opportunity to call themselves, they call in their violent gang to try to come and raid the police department with guns blazing, which is terrible roleplay and borderline fail RP. But it doesn't help anyone, and eventually they end up getting a much longer jail sentence, and they're pissed off at us, and then they call request lawyers as in like, hey, you lost your chance there, buddy. So unfortunately, it's a lot of times it's people abuse it, and they say they're calling their lawyer, and then they don't. So we may say in the future that they can stand next to them while they call their lawyer, but or they can call for them. But it's hard to say something like that. So that happens in real life as well. I've never heard of a single case where someone calls their buddies to come in violently into a jail.
Well, not like that, but I'm saying they don't necessarily have to call a lawyer. They can call a family member or something like that as well.
Oh yeah, they can do that, but I've never heard someone actually doing that instead in game because obviously they don't care about their life like they would in real life, and then they just say, "Hey, I'm in jail right now. There's 3 of them. They're all downstairs. If you come in from 2 different sides, you could probably kill them all." So, gun store.
It depends if you're compliant or not as well. If we'll let you call or we'll call. Overall attitude helps a lot.
Yeah. Gun store. Maybe 1 or 2 more gun stores. We only have the one in town. That is on the to-do list. Yes. Not a hard thing to do, but it's simply a matter of keeping people in certain areas instead of all over the map. Because y'all's complaints used to be that you would never see anyone, and now y'all usually see people, even if it is at the bank. But if you have all these different spots all over the map, then people don't see each other even more. So we'll see about it though. We'll see. I got it on my list. Will there be more enforcement of OOC spam in game? People use it for tech support, etc., etc. So something I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be disabling normal chat, so you can't chat normally at all. You always have to use a certain channel. And then, well, I may not disable it. That may be a bad call. But OOC is going to take a little bit of your health every time you use it. Tweeting is going to use battery life for battery once I do that. And then doing an ad will cost you. It's going to be a small amount of health, not a lot. And right now, the reason why is because health regenerates anyway. So, but there will become a point when I can finally figure it out where it will consistently work, where health will no longer regenerate like I want it to, and then we will change how that works. But it's going to be a very small amount of health because your health regenerates anyways. So. Also, I'm going to go ahead and address this now because I don't know if there's going to be a question about it. But you don't have to use ad to talk to cops. You can call 911, and if dispatch is available, they will respond. Which, if they're not having a dispatch on, then there's either too few cops on the server or someone's screwing up, because there's always supposed to be dispatch on, and I'm not sure if people just forgot about that or what, but we'll see about getting that resolved. Can you elaborate on the announcement made on S1 about Drama RP? I heard very briefly about someone doing this, but I don't know anything about it beyond that. Otherwise, what I'll say is that if you come here to cause a lot of drama and strife between members, then you can go somewhere else, because we want roleplay. We don't want a drama soap opera here. Oh, here we go. This past 3 days, there's been a lot of drama in the community. I think the reaction from some of the staff has been grossly unprofessional, extremely off-putting. The past few days, we've seen both Floppy, despite denouncing that behavior in a form not a day before, and another staff member essentially showing off their e-peen with unprofessional statements in the shout box. Making a public statement about the situation is fine, but what we've seen the past few days is really just off-putting for the public and the community. Is this an issue that has an acknowledgement and worked on? I fully said what I said because I was stabbed in the back. So again, this goes back to the whole Michael Shook and Victor Keel issue. And what happened with Victor Keel is we gave him one more chance, and the very next day, I'd already had several reports of him trying to poach people again. And he was giving out their TeamSpeak IP to try to get people to get on it. He was talking to other people again. And so, yeah, I called him out in front of everybody because although I can agree with you that what I did was extremely unprofessional and probably off-putting to some people, but at the same time, if you don't know me well enough, I'm probably going to offend some people of this. Do you have any proof of that? Yeah, I do have proof of all of this. I have proof of all of this. Yes. I don't. Why would I just say that? I don't. Not. I just said I don't want drama here. I'm not just going to start rumors and bullcrap. So, but at the same time, I'm not some little snowflake. If eventually push comes to shove and something needs to be said about someone's character, about how they're going to behave in this kind of community, and how they're going to treat everyone, because what y'all don't realize, or what a lot of you don't realize, is that whenever this staff member decided to poach on us, he's actually betraying you guys too, in a sense, because he was a trusted member of the community, and yet he's trying to take away other trusted members of the community and your friends to a different server. So, yeah, what I said was extremely unprofessional. I know what I said. I said one thing in the shop box about it, and I said he's no longer going to be welcome here. I don't regret what I said. I would say it again probably if someone was like that, because that's unprofessional and disrespectful on so many levels to myself and the rest of the community. So, all right, so I'm gonna move on here. Oh, dear Lord, what are y'all doing in chat? All right, can we have the pointing ability that allows us to hold and move around? I have it on my to-do list. I promise. I know this is such a requested feature, but it's such a low priority feature because of all the other things that we need to get done. So we will work it. I promise. We will look into it eventually and get when I get to it on my list, and we will work on it. Dexter, what is your deal, dude? Everyone's telling you to shut up, and it sounds like when a lot of people tell you to do something, you probably need to listen. What is the deal? If you really want to know, you can either say in chat or put in a community question, because that's what I'd rather. All right, well, you put what you want in a question, because I'm not going to, or a community question, because I'm not going to wait for you to say it while I can be getting this meeting going. So, driving mod, can we get a driving modification like SOE or less, like No Pixel currently uses? Too much for fun and realistic, literally. I can't stand this GTA driving online anymore. We already have one. Now we can definitely look into getting something more, like something more restrictive, but you got to give me more details to what you mean, because there's probably hundreds of variables that we can change for vehicles, but you're not saying a single one of what you'd want to see. You just want to say what you don't want anymore. And honestly, I never played GTA Online, so I don't know what you're talking about. So please put it in a question about what you mean, or put, even better, put in a suggestion, a highly detailed suggestion as to what you would prefer to see. And that would be very, very helpful to myself and the rest of the community. Reporting players. My question is, why is a good portion of the community run to report people on the forum? I actually don't think that many people do. Half the time, it's a simple misunderstanding that could be easily resolved in a 5-minute talk in a hangout or even in game. And reporting people should be a last resort, not the first thing. I agree. Don't get me wrong. If a default Danny mows down a bunch of people or in a situation, blah blah blah. Let's see. To the example, as a community, we should talk about our problems first, not just instant report people. It's worth noting. Okay, so I agree. And I can't give you an answer there. Again, like I said earlier when I started off, is that I can't control players' actions. I can't control what y'all do. What y'all do at the end of the day is ultimately up to you. So if people just want to instantly report someone, then that's their prerogative. It's not something I agree with. It's not how I would live my life, because I agree. I would rather talk with you 5 minutes in or outside a game and get it resolved like adults ourselves, instead of running to a staff member if I was a player and trying to get them to do it, because they're not going to wait too. But I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. So I can't give you an answer on that. I don't want it to be, hey, the second you have an issue, make a player report, because that's more work on us.
But to be fair, and we brought this up before because someone has said, why does it take so long to process these player reports? We go through very thoroughly with each one to make sure that every bit of evidence is presented, and then we make sure that we make the right decision. So even if someone does pop in right away,
try.
Yeah, well, we try. And even if someone does do it immediately, it's not going to be just processed right away, and you're going to get punished for it. So it's very thorough on our part.
A
We
better
make sure
customer.
to get both sides of the stories, not just one side. We have to give some time for both parties involved to give their sides of the stories before we can do anything.
A lot of servers have this option, and it's definitely possible to have a better customization system. Why do we still have no eyebrows, makeup, and limited hair colors? I feel like there's way too many default Dannies or lookalikes in the city because of limited options or face or hair. You can go to the freaking clothing shop and use the free roam model, and you will have literally hundreds of options for these things. I've been saying it since I put it in months ago. Stop going to the morgue. Go over there.
There's a lot of missing pieces to that, though. Is what they're
There
saying.
is. There's still room for improvement. Don't get me wrong, but it is a lot of work to do. So, I mean, I could very easily create, a new topic every week and have a vote for what y'all want me to work on next after I work on the next feature. But for right now, like, it's a lot about it's a lot of other work that I need to get done before more customization. I'd rather have more customization. We're talking about that in the staff right now about adding another 650 megabyte stream download. Only happens once though, don't worry. But I mean, it's a lot of work. That's why we don't have it yet. But we do have a lot more options, hundreds of options, than are already than what y'all think. I think so. This is not a community question. This is your failure to follow instructions. Can we stop the stealth patching? I think I know who posted this. If you're going to change core things about the game, at least make a forum post, especially when the ideas are half baked. I'm looking at you, 7,000 airlift fine. So what I tend to do is I make some changes, and then once I've confirmed they're all working, both in my server and in the public environment, I'll make a patch notes about it, usually a few times a week. I have not been able to do that lately though, because I've been swamped with other things in real life to take care of. But the airlift fine has been reverted for now. For now, it will be coming back though. All right, let's see. Community review suggestions. Yep, I'll do that. Make a better system to call cops and ask for help. Like now, if you have important information, you need to go PD. And I actually addressed this already. You don't have to do it via advert. You can call 911. And I will make sure to get with EMS because I think we have a lot of, or not EMS, but PD command. I'm pretty sure they're in here now. So that we'll get it stated that SOPs mandate that there always be someone on dispatch because dispatch can now be mobile. However, it will be set up to where if dispatch is to get into a hostile situation, they're to leave immediately and go to a safe spot so that they can be available to take calls. Because you can just do /911 or /call space 911 and call dispatch. EMS vehicle GPS. Can we please receive the same GPS locations on the map of all EMS vehicles like PD and SO does? Would help EMS dispatch greatly. Sincerely, Johnny Nanny. We can discuss it, but I don't see a huge need for it. But if it's that popular, if something that y'all would like, then we can do it. Yes, I'll add that on my to-do list. Drug prices versus trucking. Okay, no offense, but I already talked about this, so I'm not going to read it. But it literally says drug prices versus trucking, about how much you're getting for trucking in each drug run. I already talked about it. You'll be seeing a lot of changes coming in for this. So, saves hanging around bank. We talked about that. Server traffic. Can we give the other admins the ability or taught how to bring the server back up when the population to the point another is needed? They already know how. If they don't, well, I've taught them and I just need to reteach them again, apparently. Chunks, are they being fixed or are they out permanently? I'm working on them right now. Well, not right now, but that's my current project. I don't understand what you're. This is a suggestion, not a community question. For those of you who have not already, please vote on whether you want all current characters, if you have a character on the server, to be automatically whitelisted, or if you want everyone to have to put in a application. And you will not be able to play until you have an approved application in.
There's over 100 votes. I don't know if there's 100 people in here.
It's not enough. Would be lovely if you could have a section in forums for character journals, diaries, just a normal forum section where you can post one per character about the character's lives and adventures in Los Santos, kind of like a diary. We have character intros. We can definitely add character journals. If someone wants to take care of that, I think Morgan's in here. You could do that in no time flat, couldn't you? PvP. What?
I can't.
All right. Well, he is struggling. He is struggling with that, but okay. You've been writing journals in WordPress. I didn't know you had a WordPress blog about it. I'm unsure of how PvP zones add to the RP storyline development. I'll already say PvP zones were voted to be gone, so they are removed in the next patch. No more openly firing as soon as you step inside of a red zone. Bike strips, are they fixed? Yes. How should we treat locals? Like real people, players, or AI? You should treat them like real players. I don't care if that means if you run them over and you sit there and cry and weep over their dead body and hope no one notices you. I'm guilty of not doing it too. Talking while down. Again, this should be fixed in the next patch where you can no longer talk, call, or talk on the radio while you are down. Further, I'll go ahead and say this now because I forgot to earlier. Whenever someone keys up on a phone call or on the radio, it will do a me command nearby showing that that player is doing such a thing. It will also do it for if you try to call someone and if you text someone and if you drop a weapon or drop an item. Dehydration and hunger consequences. Being down from dehydration or hunger is an instant break in the ongoing RP. Well, yes, it is because you died. In my opinion, dehydration and hunger should not cause you to fall over. Instead, perhaps it should possibly force you to walk or some sort of inconvenience that doesn't immediately put a halt in ongoing RP. Thoughts? I think that you have two bars at the very bottom left hand corner that give you very accurate representations of your current hunger and thirst. And if you can't keep those up, then there's going to be consequences. I can definitely make it to where when one of those are getting low that you only walk everywhere, but I'm not going to be taking it away completely because it is a good mechanic to have in game for a roleplay scenario, and there's going to be benefits to having certain foods, water, etc., drugs in the future. I just have to get to it, like I keep saying I will, and then have higher priorities come up. So meta via TS. Can you add more enforcement for the people who go into server channels and TS when they're not actually in game? They meta by listening in on people. Like that's a lot of people to listen to at once. It's hard to gain information, I imagine.
You can actually local mute a lot of people. And
I mean, you can. I mean, you could do that, but in all honesty, whenever I see someone AFK in there, I remove them. I kick them. We can start watching for that more, and if they don't get into the server within a minute or two, then we will kick them from the server or from the channel. Because that shouldn't be going on. Whitelist. How can we be a part of whitelist? Oh my god. I'm pretty sure this is a question asked a while. I covered it earlier. Cocaine fields. I think the cocaine fields are becoming a pointless activity, seeing as it seems now officers camped a lot. Do you think we could implement more patrolling so they aren't just always there, and that way criminals are able to do criminal activity? You can go do weed or you can do meth as well if you want to do a drug run. Meth pays a hell of a lot more anyway. But just because the police are patrolling or watching a certain area doesn't mean that they have to change their play style. You can make a suggestion or a request that it be changed the SOPs and they patrol more, not camp something. But I believe they're not even supposed to sit there for very long anyway. Yeah, looking briefly in the chat, they're saying they don't really camp that much anyway.
We do patrols. So we'll go check it out, and after we go, we'll move on to the next place, and and then eventually come back, after we did our other sections. Yeah.
Yep.
Properties. When will they return? Also, when they return, will they have the ability to put in red, gold, coffee, etc., to make properties work again? Yes, they will be returning, but vehicle inventories were a much more requested feature to get done first than properties were. Will we be seeing new jobs in the future? Already covered that. Doing stuff you wouldn't do in real life. This is one thing that's really annoying. I was playing it earlier and a guy was running around the street and road kicking and punching people's cars and damaging them and running off, going back. This is very annoying and no one would do this in real life. It would be better if the staff were stricter on this. How the hell can we do something about it if we don't have a player report?
Call the cops and we'll arrest them for vandalism.
Yeah, I mean, call the cops saying that there's someone running around, literally running in traffic, causing disturbances to the traffic flow, and they're being violent towards the local people and yourself. Like, people don't do that in real life a lot, though. People do it a lot in game, is what it sounds like. So, if there's no phone call and there's no report, then we can't do anything about being stricter on it because we're not everywhere at once. Getting guns back after you're jailed for non-gun related crime. Could we please get them back after doing a crime where it's not legal or a non-violent crime? No. Nope. We currently have it to where you will lose all your guns on your person if you go to jail. And that's how it is in real life anyway. So. Tow truck and taxi calls. Oh, speaking of tow truck, I think I got a surefire way to have tow trucks working now. A little wonky how it looks, but it should be working 100% now. I haven't been able to test it, but all the tests I did were 100% effective. So I've said that before, but hopefully this time, because the way I did it this time is a little different. Wanted to know if there's a way wanted to know if there was a why. I'm assuming that was a way that when people call for a taxi, it shows up where they are. If you have a town, it takes 500 to get in town, etc. I don't know what your wording is. He apologized at the end. I'm guessing you're asking for like a ping on the map of where they are. We could, but we won't. You can call them for that. It's more roleplay interaction. Hey, call up the taxi driver, tell them where you are. That's what you do in real life. Well, now they actually have smartphones, so you don't have to call them anymore and tell them where you are, but whatever. Can we add a player-based economy in any type of way to add more RP stories? Just a thought. Already covered that we are starting that with the next job that I add. Scuba diving. Can we get scuba diving for civilians? So you could get some scuba gear, dive down into crashed planes and subs, find a chest box holding an item, treasure, something. Yeah, we can do something like that. One day.
I think in general, what would help is breathing underwater longer. Right now, it's like what, 10 seconds?
I've already looked into it, and so far I haven't been very successful, but I didn't look into it that long either, admittedly. Yeah, and I suck at swimming. I hate the swimming in this game. It's so weird. Might click on Togo VoIP radio. He's already working on it. Yeah, I've done that, Brian, but it doesn't work for me for some reason. So maybe it works after all the patches that I tried many times ago. But yeah, I used the float. I used the float and I tried both. We'll try it again though. Send that to me and I'll double check it. More better jobs. Oh, I'm gonna skip this one because I gave y'all a small rant earlier about it, where you tell me something but you don't give me actual suggestions. Checking passive stats. Could we make it so that you can see your current passive stats are like 50 jobs done or something, so you know how close you are to get the bonus? We are gonna eventually have a web interface where you can see all your stats. Currently, the staff can see all your stats, but we don't currently have a way for you to now. But you will soon. Jail time and drag for EMS. I can say right now that whenever police get escort, EMS will get escort as well. Can EMS please put people in the hospital for a certain amount of time? Yes, that is the plan. That you'll be able to put them in for X amount of minutes, and whenever they get, or as y'all call it, take a flight out or whatever it's called, you'll be there for X amount of minutes as well before you can actually move. Chat box, is there a way to make the scroll back, the chat box scroll up again? I believe I have asked KNG to work on this because they changed it to the new chat system. So new change to VoIP when dead. What? There are genuine reasons to talk when down. Outright disabling is a terrible fix for the problem. There's not one single reason I can think of that's a genuine reason to be talking while you're supposed to be dead. The only reason why we have allowed it for now is because I had not changed it yet.
Well, not necessarily dead. Let's say you just get hit by a car and knocked out. The EMS.
Okay,
comes over.
unconscious. Sorry, not dead, but unconscious.
Yeah. Like if you ask for your injuries, what's wrong? Oh, this, that, my spleen, and there's a whole RP situation that happens right there. If they come and just pop you up, it's on. Then they start from scratch. You know what I mean? That's what.
Right.
A lot of
But what I'm going to be doing when I can add that medical system is that whenever they, I mean, because honestly, you can still do all that once you revive them, because in a real world scenario, most of the time you're going to revive them before you do other. Well, okay, probably what? Who are the EMTs, paramedics in here? About 80% of the time, you're going to revive them before you actually start doing all the other stuff, I think. It's about that. So, but eventually there will be a system set up where you have to do all these things before you can bring them back and everything. So, Token VoIP phones. Anyway, I can change the keybind talking from the caps key to another key. You can do it in the what's it called in the escape menu. If you change your keybind for caps lock to something else, then it should rebind. It should. Okay, this is a suggestion, not a question, so I'm skipping it. Pistol whip. Would it be possible to knock someone unconscious when pistol whipping them instead of downing them? It would save lives, also the amount of accidental deaths with pistols. Currently, what we're saying is y'all have called it down, y'all have called it dead, y'all have called it dead while still talking. What it's supposed to be is unconscious whenever you get shot or downed. Either way, you're unconscious at that point. I will be saying that if I can make it work, I'm going to make it to where if you take intensive damage, like multiple bullets, getting hit with a car, falling off a building, you won't be able to be revived, period. You will have to go to the hospital. And if those are the cases, you won't be receiving a automatic EMS notification anyway. Due to the facts of PD and EMS being a higher quality of RP and having to do an app training to do the stricter type of rules, can make it more appealing to players to be part of EMS. Pay right. This looks like a suggestion. I'm gonna skip that for now. Scheduled events have something like these ideas here. I'll be looking at that later. What is the state of the Krakening? I just got Kraken from pressing Z to change my thing as it was whispering and shouting. That didn't have anything to do with it. We don't know what causes it still, unfortunately. But I've about finished the code that when it does happen, because I've only had it happen to me twice ever. I've about finished the code that when it does happen, it should automatically be detected, and it will put you back at the hospital for now. And then after we've got that test and it's working, I will work on a method to make sure that it puts you back at where you were before you were Krakened. Why is everything revolved around money? We're an RP community. We should be focused on RP and not how much money we can make in a train. The city is being turned into GTA Online. You have flocks of people standing around. You have people just farming truck routes, etc., etc. I can't answer that for you. Again, as I stated earlier, unfortunately, a lot of people just don't want to roleplay for whatever reason. And what really grinds my gears, so to speak, is that people will complain that there's not enough roleplay on the server, and then they aren't trying to roleplay on the server and to try to help out in the first place to make it better and progress it. But like, I can't make y'all do this. Like, the only reason I do share stuff is because I always get roleplay that way. Otherwise, I'd play a lot more civilian because when I do play civilian and I can't get roleplay, I prefer it. Like, as Barrett, I have a few confidential informants because of my interactions with them. And I've made a story revolving around it, and they know in game as their character that if they screw up, then they're going to be going away for a long time, or someone they care about is going to go away for a long time. And so I have stories going on as Barrett that a lot of y'all don't even know about. Freaking Barrett has a backstory that most people don't know about. So I can't help that. I can't really answer why people are doing it either, but unfortunately, I can't do anything about it, and it sucks when y'all compare us to other servers, saying other servers are better than this. Well, that's because other servers and the people there have realized that, hey, if I want people to roleplay, then I have to roleplay as well. So once you start doing that, there you go. RP cars? What does that even mean? Please make vehicles available to purchase or rent that will help increase RP without having to steal them. I do have plans to do that. I've been meaning to do that for many, many months, unfortunately. I will add it to my to-do list now to do a much higher priority, actually. Can we have a custom island for a special type of drug that you would need a boat to get to? Unless there's like an island in the game where it looks like you could get a drug, I can't really do anything about that because I'm definitely not about to try to learn map making in GTA. But we can do something of that nature.
Party Island already exists. It's out by Sankudo. It's got a little hut on there and a little campfire. It's pretty cool.
There's a lot.
Are there plans to add more emotes? If so, what is planned? And can I request specifically the following emotes? Wow. Wow. Hand job, blow job, reach around an Eiffel Tower. This is anonymous, right? So we actually have some of those emotes already in, but they've been disabled for everyone pretty much. Because of you people who are going to want to just do it all the time. And we know that the player reports will basically go up about the vulgarity because people are snowflakes. Now, I would allow it. I don't care that much. But I guarantee you, if someone comes up to Barrett and starts butt humping him all of a sudden, then he's going to turn around and shoot you in the cock holster. Getting released from prison. What is the current state of prisoners being released at the prison? I will do that. I meant to do that months ago and I forgot. It's a simple change. Can we revisit 4 cops having priority queue? Not this time because I was working on it, but now that we've moved to FX, Toko is working on the new queue system, and I don't want to screw with his code that he's working on and add in new tricks and everything while we're doing it. So, driving. I'll be driving, and also my car will break down and catch fire. I'll go through the world, and my car explodes. Can that please be fixed? Thanks, Floppy. So if you're driving and your car suddenly breaks down, you hit something, or a vehicle appeared in front of you and you hit it, or a vehicle appeared in front of you, but it was invisible and you hit it. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about those. If you fall through the world, I can't do anything about that. That's a computer issue, fortunately. So the best thing I can do to suggest to make this happen a lot less to you is to completely delete FiveM, completely delete and purge GTA, and re-download GTA, reinstall FiveM. That has helped a lot of people when they do it. That's all I can really suggest, unfortunately. It's completely out of my hands. The only thing I can do is completely remove AI, and that still wouldn't help falling through the world. New Crackening code question. Which NLR part would that be under if you are sent to the hospital from a bug? It sounds like it's a sarcasm. It's like sarcasm. Like passive aggressiveness.
Well,
I don't.
I think he's trying to figure out what happens in terms of the NLR rule.
I mean,
tied to a bug.
I would say that, you I don't know, say that you had a medical emergency and you had to be airlifted off to the hospital. That's what I would suggest because, like I said, I want to get it fixed to where you go straight to the hospital, but I would like to get it to where it just sends you straight back to where you were, and it shouldn't be too difficult to do. So, didn't take too long to make happen either. In fact, I need a challenge. I'll just make it happen while I'm at work this weekend and test it out. Crosshair. Can we maybe disable the crosshair for guns? I am already considering that, actually. I would have done it a long time ago if the crosshairs on the sites in game weren't absolutely horrendous. Like one of them was like a 3 centimeter dot. My God. Okay, again, Logan, that's a freaking suggestion, not a community question. All right, so at this time, holy crap, I answered all 88 questions. Well, I answered all the questions or for the community meeting out of that. That's a lot. So it looks like we're going to do this. So right now, the polls stand that EMS will not be getting tasers, which I agree with. And it also stands that whitelisting, every player will have to not reapply. They'll automatically be whitelisted, which I am still not for. But oh well. If you have not voted on the whitelisting issue, you can vote there. The option 1 is that every player has to put in an application to be whitelisted. Option 2 is that if you have a character on the server currently, you're automatically whitelisted until such time comes, if such time comes, that you receive a ban or we deem necessary that you need to do a whitelist application.
The vote is so damn close.
I know, I just need a few more people to go in my favor.
Ooh, it's 50-50.
You're hoping for a reapply, Floppy? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a reapply.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I mean, it would be better, but it'd be a lot more work, unfortunately. And I was like, I can do a lot of this interviews at work. I was like, oh wait, no, I can't, because it uses Steam.
There you go. Reapply.
Oh! Someone logged onto a different computer.
It would be easier to remove someone than to add. But that's just thought.
Gotta love how we had 90 people in the channel and there's 150 votes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people
what the
have been
hell?
Coming and going. People have been coming
Yeah, I
and going.
know. Yeah.
Ah, bots. Bunch of bots.
Well, it's not a runaway like the last vote we had, last community meeting.
Yeah, Brian's right. It's freaking rigged.
You're winning now. I wouldn't say it's rigged.
Alright, so y'all did your community questions. Now, I will go ahead and open it up into TeamSpeak that if you have a question you'd like to ask in here, like not so much something that the rest of the community needs to hear or wants to be addressed, then you would be able to do so. All you gotta do is put a Q next to your name, in front of your name, Q dash in front of your name, and then I will unmute you one by one and we'll go through them. But I'm only going through the list once, so I'll give y'all a minute to think of a question if you have one. If not, then it won't be an issue at all. But as I said, I'm currently working on getting vehicle inventory back. It'll be a better system on the back end. On the front end, it'll be about the same that y'all had used before. However, it shouldn't be exploitable in any sense this time, hopefully. But the rework that I've done on the back end already, that's completed and confirmed working, it's going to allow for other features with vehicles, such as finally allowing you to make a copy of your keys and give them to another player so that another player can lock and unlock your vehicle at will. Ooh. That even.
How can it possibly be dead?
Someone's logging
Something's
on to
fishy
different
going on.
computers and changing it. I'm gonna say that they have to reapply at this point. So here's what we're gonna do, because that's something I forgot we gotta do as well. That's so many Chrome windows. Oh my god, I have so many Chrome windows open.
I was trying to keep up as you were answering them and mark them as done.
All right, so if you, well, you're gonna have to reply, and I'll probably turn this on sometime this weekend because I want to turn it on right freaking now. Go there and apply. Just sign in with Steam, and put an application in, and we will. That's the wrong link. How's that the wrong link? Oh yeah, I forgot to put it on the end, didn't I? That's the wrong link.
Come on, Logan, be nice, okay?
Oh my god. You told me to make that. It freaking works, dude. What the hell are you talking about? Screw you, Sideways. You told me to make that subdomain. I made it.
No, you guys are applying for whitelist. That's what the link is for.
All right, so this is for the whitelisting. So you need to submit an application. Do not go lax on it, even if you think you're a well-known player and you deserve to get in right away. If you do so, it will be denied and you will have to wait one full day before you can reapply.
I'd like to know that the vote flipped tragically.
What? No, someone screwed it over. No.
It's okay, I got a screenshot of when it was still in favor of reapply.
It was
What is-
77 to 77 votes. I remember. This whitelisting, for
someone
those
do
of
it
you who do
again?
not know, is for playing on the server. We're going full whitelisting.
There'll probably be a phase where we just go through the application so that when we do actually go full whitelisting, people can start playing straight away instead of having to wait for weeks.
Oh, yeah. Let me turn off the current whitelisted people. Hold on. I'm going to have to make a custom MySQL. Ugh.
Do you want us to start removing the passport tags from TeamSpeak until people are whitelisted again?
Well, we don't remove them off TeamSpeak. Remove them off the forums, and the bot will do it automatically. I'll wipe the
Alright.
TeamSpeak tags now.
Well, that's neato.
Yeah. So when people get whitelisted, you're gonna get the forum tags now, and then the Revo bot will do it automatically. I'll give you the TeamSpeak tag.
But I hate the Revo bot.
Nick, watch your mouth.
It can hear you, Nick. All right,
Good now- good now.
wiping passport.
And now how's you log, Nick?
Oh dear.
All the servers are going to be fully whitelist.
I wiped all the civilian passports, and RevoBot put them back within half a second.
See?
I'm gonna have to.
I
I'm gonna have
told
to
you, I
wipe the
hate
forums
RevoBot.
first. I'm gonna
All
have
right,
to wipe
all
the forums
whitelists
first.
are removed. So if you had it a second ago, refresh, and it should be set up now to where it does not say that you're already whitelisted.
So what about support staff, cop, and EMS?
What about
Do they have to reapply?
Staff members are going to be helping with whitelist, so no, they will not have to reapply.
Cop and EMS will have to.
However, if we have an issue with you, then you will be very harshly talked to about not having an application. So I would highly suggest just getting it done so I can get it approved, and not going easy on it and actually make one. Now keep in mind that when you create your application and you have a character bio or anything in there like that, we expect you to follow it. Because I will occasionally look up random people's bios I'm playing with in game, and if they are going something completely against what their character actually is, then we're gonna have some issues.
And floppy isn't the only one that does it. Just that you think you're safe when as long as floppy isn't on.
Dexter, I love how you're being very passive aggressive when I literally just answered your question already that staff have to do it too. So I don't know if you're just not listening or selective listening or what, but okay.
Just for clarification, when I say remove whitelisting off the forums, I mean remove the tag. You're not going to get removed off the forums, because I just received 2 messages about that. It's just the tag, and you'll get it back once you're whitelisted. And if you're staff, you don't need the tag, so.
All right, I'm going to start going through the questions here, if y'all have any. My phone just restarted again on its own. Awesome. All right, Gaddington.
Pretty much forgot my question.
Oh, my
wait, no.
God.
I remember. Oh no, I lost. Okay.
Wow.
Anyways, is there because I've noticed, and I'm sure everyone's noticed, that servers go up and down depending on the population and availability of users. Is it or has it already been implemented where the rotation of servers are applied on a clock, so that we can know when servers would come up? Because right now I believe it's a waiting game and people are getting agitated due to it being a waiting game.
So
No, it doesn't vary the amount of servers based upon the time. It only comes up whenever an admin throws another one online.
And just for
Understood.
clarification, the admins are under strict instructions only to bring them up, not when we have enough players, but when we actually have enough cops and EMS to cover the other servers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Because there's no point bringing a server up that there's not going to be any cops on or any EMS on.
I agree.
Yep, that's exactly how it is right now. All right, Johnny.
Hiya. In terms of the new black turnouts for EMS, I know you said you were waiting until the servers are fully stable and don't crash. I'm assuming they're doing just fine. Any ETA onto when that's going to be pushed?
I still haven't received a direct link containing the files so that I could actually examine them and put them in. I know, right?
Oh, jeez.
I've said that I need to have them sent directly to my Rocket, whether they're attached in Rocket or they are a Dropbox or some other link online that I can download instantly from, sent to my Rocket in a private chat, and I've yet to receive one.
Okay.
I'm not that I'm